Hey guys, and welcome back to Morgs Menu. So today, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be going over the whole process of us adopting a dog. I did film a little bit a couple weeks ago of a couple things that we have done to prepare, so I'll start this video off with that clip, and then I'll show you some clips of kind of where we're at now. And as you can see, we've got a little friend at home, so let's get started. So excited to be filming this because this means we're officially getting a dog. I'm literally ecstatic. I've been wanting to get a dog for over a year now probably, but Mitch and I were just kind of like waiting until it made sense for like our lives basically. The last apartment we were in, we moved into this one last summer, but the last apartment we were in, it was just like really not conducive for a dog. People did have dogs in that apartment, but it just like wasn't the best area for us to go on walks and stuff at night with them and stuff. So we just didn't get a dog then. And then when we moved here, we kind of wanted to make sure that this apartment was going to be better. We could already see from moving here that this was a much more like dog-friendly area, just from the amount of dogs and people that we would see walking dogs all the time. So now that we've been here for about 6 months and we see the amount of dogs that are both in our apartment and around, and kind of know of all the different things that are around for a dog, we're gonna go ahead and do it. So I figured I'd just film this process. We're going to be adopting a dog. I just love the idea of adopting a dog that's either, you know, been turned into a shelter because of a family reason, or, you know, is a stray or something like that, and just giving a dog that is having kind of a rough life, giving them a better life. So that's what we're going to be doing. Mitch and I both grew up with dogs our entire lives. Our parents both still have dogs. My sister has a dog. Like we've always been surrounded by dogs, except for like in our own apartment. This will be the first time it's officially our pet in general. We don't even have we don't have any cats or like even a fish or anything like that. Our biggest pet is a plant, and we've kept that alive for a year and a half now. So time to step it up to something new. So we've done a couple things just like to prepare us for getting a dog and that kind of stuff. So we did visit a shelter that we may be getting the dog from a couple weeks ago, just to understand the process and just see how it all goes. I of course fell in love with one or two of the dogs while we were there, but just the timing wasn't right. I wanted us to be more prepared. When we adopt them, we're going to be here together, both of us be here, you know, for the majority of the time, so that it makes the transition easiest both for us and for the dog. We've also been kind of just like looking around at stores at like dog stuff, just making sure we understand pricing and everything like that. And obviously like we feel like we can, you know, handle any vet bills or anything like that that are going to come with the dog, but we just kind of wanted to get an understanding of like how much food costs and how much like the toys cost and the treats and like the medicines that they're going to have to take and like the dog bowls and like that kind of stuff. So we just have been kind of walking around. We have a Petco and a Target right across the street from us, so we've been walking around there, and I've been doing some looking around on Amazon. Basically the reason I'm on the floor right now is we did order a couple things from Amazon just to get us prepared. Because we're adopting from a shelter, we really don't know like what type of dog that we're going to be getting at, but we're kind of gonna aim for something around small or medium size, just because even though our apartment is pretty big and we do plan on walking them, and there's like parks and different things where they can get a decent amount of exercise, we don't want to get a like big dog that really just needs a yard that they can run around in. But we do have a park that's like less than a 10-minute walk from us, where a lot of people walk their dogs. It's right on the water. It's really pretty. And then literally like a 3-minute walk from us, there's an actual dog park where there's some like fenced in areas. They have kind of an area for larger dogs and more active dogs, and then they have smaller, more mellow dogs. We have a lot of different things around us that are going to be, there's a fuzz right here. It's like driving me crazy. You probably can't see it and I look like a crazy person. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of different things around this apartment that we can make it dog friendly and still give the dog a great life. So anyway, we did order some stuff from Amazon, and it's on the floor in this box in front of me, so we're gonna open it up. Alrighty, so as I mentioned, there is like a Target and a Petco right by us, so we'll probably get a lot more once we actually have the dog, like the day that we come home with the dog. But we did want to get a couple things that can kind of be universal across all, like any small or medium dog. So basically we decided to go ahead and get a bed that's kind of universal for a dog up to like 55 to 60 pounds because we figured that's like the biggest that we're gonna go. But we wanted to have something for at least like to put in our car on the ride home from the shelter so that the dog can, you know, lay down and be more comfortable than just being like in the trunk of my car. Well, not the trunk, I have an SUV. That sounded worse than it is, but like in the, you know, the hard part of the backseat of my car. So I wanted to get that. We also wanted to go ahead and get dog bowls, and we wanted to go ahead and get some poop bags, which is not that exciting, but we do live in the city, so that is a realistic thing that we're gonna need a lot of. So we went ahead and got those things, and then obviously the day of, we'll go and get more food and stuff, and at least the shelter that we visited, they have a package where you can just purchase a leash and a collar there, which we thought would be best because a collar really like has to be the size of the dog. So if we end up getting a small, like, you know, 20-pound dog, we need a much different collar than when you could get a dog that's 40 or 50 pounds. So we'll start by the least exciting thing, which is just the poop bags. I just thought these were cool because they're like eco-friendly and biodegradable, which is nice. They're allergy-free, blah, 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 and they have like these types of things at Petco. I just found that like I could get a giant pack from Amazon for cheaper, so I just did that. We also looked at like Petco and Target for stuff, and they do have things. It was just the shopping center that we live near is like really busy. All of the stores are just always really picked over. It's nothing like that the store or anything's doing wrong, so it's literally all of the stores there. It's just always super busy, so they can't keep inventory of a lot of stuff up. So like when we went to Petco, they just had like 2 or 3 beds available, and same thing with Target. So we just went ahead and ordered everything on Amazon, and then as we need more things and like need to pick up more stuff, we'll just probably go to Petco and Target more often so we can actually see it in person. This other box in here is the bed, so I'm gonna try and open this up. Okay, this is bigger than I thought it was gonna be, but it works. You might end up with a dog that needs the size of the bed. Just bring you down here with me on the floor. So we just have this little bed here. It has cute little like dog print on the side. It's just like black with gray. Seems pretty comfy. It'll just be good, kind of like get us started. And it's nice. I realize now it has like little grippies on the bottom, so it shouldn't slide around too much. So, you know, a good starter bed for us to have. And then as we kind of figure out what the dog likes more and stuff, we'll get something else. All right, and then here I think is just going to be dog bowls. These are so cute. Okay, so basically they're like navy and white striped, and it has little paw prints, and then it has this like silicone, like non-slip thing on the bottom, so when your dog's like eating all around it, it doesn't like move around too much. But basically got 2 of this size, so this should fit, you know, a decent amount of dog food and water. And then we'll probably get something bigger. It's actually a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, but I think it'll still suffice. And it was like $10 or $15 for both of them on Amazon, so really inexpensive. It'll at least do the job in the beginning, so yeah, really. All right, guys, so it's now a couple weeks later from when I first filmed that clip, and as you can see, we have a little dog bed set up that I showed you, that I unboxed, I guess. And we officially have a dog now. I originally was planning on trying to film some of the process, maybe like, you know, at a shelter or something like that. To be honest, the process ended up being a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. As I mentioned, I think, you know, we do have some breed restrictions and things with my apartment complex, and we wanted to kind of get a smaller or medium dog just because we do live in an apartment. We didn't want to get a huge dog that really needed a big yard to be able to run around in. So it did limit the search, but I really just I thought it was going to be more of like an exciting and fun process of like going to different shelters and meeting different dogs and all of this stuff, because in theory that sounds super fun, like being surrounded by dogs, but it ended up being kind of just difficult because, you know, going to different shelters, it did take us several weeks before we were able to find our dog, and just going into different shelters and seeing different dogs. It's obviously, you know, fun to see dogs in general, but it is hard when you see a bunch of dogs there that, you know, fall out of the criteria that you have to have, you know, based on where you live, and you can't do anything to help them. And I mean, the one good thing about like a lot of the shelters, at least close to the city, because there's so many people, the shelters really happen, you know, dogs go in and out of them really quickly, and a lot of dogs don't stay there for more than a couple days, which is amazing, but just made it really difficult because, you know, with the restrictions that we had on a dog, obviously there are a lot of other people who live in apartments and have the same restrictions. So, you know, we'd see a dog that was posted in the morning at a shelter, or a couple of dogs even, and by the time we would get there after work, all the dogs would be gone. And so it was just a tough process to constantly go in shelters and see all these really sweet dogs that we kind of wanted to take home but wouldn't have been able to. Like, it just hurt your heart, you know, to like see all those dogs. But luckily, you know, like I said, a lot of them do rotate in and out, so a lot of those dogs found homes very quickly, which was amazing. But you know, it was a lot harder than we thought. And so what we ended up actually doing is directly applying with a rescue rather than like going to a shelter and find dogs. We just found a lot of times with the shelter dogs, they just were a lot of dogs that we just couldn't get, or they were labeled as like mixed breeds, so where there was no way to determine exactly like what their breed was, and if they looked like they had any of the breeds, you know, that we weren't allowed to have. We didn't want to, you know, ever chance the fact that we'd like get a dog and then bring them home and then our apartment complex say, you know, you have to bring them back. We wanted to avoid that obviously at all costs. We ended up just applying to rescue facilities that function mostly out of foster homes. So what they do is they kind of accept your application for a dog in general before you even meet the dog. So we had to do a lot of research. Luckily, a lot of these places post a lot of pictures and videos so you can kind of see the dog, but basically just apply it that way. And that is how we found Petey. Yeah. So right here is Petey. He's very sweet. He's a little over, I think, somewhere between a year and a year and a half old. They originally listed him as some sort of mixed breed between lab and beagle, but we think he may have some sort of like boxer in him too, based on like the coloring on his little face here, and he has a short little tail, which you probably can't see at the moment, but you'll see at some point when he walks over my lap. But super sweet, the perfect little dog for us, perfect size. He's like kind of in between small and medium, really. More medium size. He's about 35 pounds right now, and just a total sweetheart. He's like the perfect combo of like enough energy to like play with us and play with his balls and his toys and things like that, but also like loves to cuddle and stuff on the weekends. We also got really lucky because he was already house trained, so we haven't had to worry about any of that. He's been perfect. We've had him for a week and a half now, and he hasn't had any accidents or anything like that. Hopefully I didn't just jinx that, but you get to wait. You just wait. No. He's camera shy apparently. But he's just so sweet and we love him, obviously. So I wanted to just introduce you guys to him because you'll probably see him roaming around in a lot of the backgrounds of a lot of my videos and things like that. Lots of pictures and stuff if you follow me on Instagram already. He's already been on there. So here's little Petey. He's perfect in every shape or form. So we've gotten a lot of stuff for him. So I may do a video also just kind of on the different like foods and treats and toys and stuff that we bought for him, because we have had to do a lot of that shopping on Amazon right now because obviously stores and stuff are really picked over, and just like, you know, we're trying to avoid going out as much as possible. So this is little Petey's, and we took a lot of different pictures and videos, you know, of his first, you know, walks and car rides and stuff like that. So I'll throw in some clips of that, but here's little Petey's, and we love him. And would definitely recommend getting a little furry friend if you've been thinking about it. It was a really, really great process because we got to, you know, pick him up from our foster who had him for like a week and a half or 2 weeks, so she could really tell us about his personality, you know, how he is on the house. He's super easy. He doesn't like chew on anything or anything like that. He's and so, you know, she could tell us all about him and like his little personality traits, you know, before we even getting him. So I really recommend doing something like that. Obviously shelters are great too, especially if it's a smaller shelter. They probably may know the dogs a little bit better too. So anyway, he's great, and here's some dog clips for you.